Hi, we're back talking about cyberbullying and sexting at Summit Middle School, Summit High School, and what we're doing in Summit School District to make sure that all kids are safe. I'm joined by Travis Avery, our Emergency Response Coordinator, and Joel Rivera, our Summit Middle School Principal. So Joel, let's start now by just talking about bullying, cyberbullying, what those are, and a little bit about how you are teaching kids to be safe in the school.
Okay. I mean, the first thing we want to do is really give a clear definition for bullying for our students, because a lot of things are put under that category. So we've done different curriculums in the past. We've done one in particular called Raising Respect that we still use, in terms of consistency of language. But bullying for us really it's repetitive. There's an intention of harm, either physically or emotionally, and an imbalance of power. When a student uses that imbalance of power to really hurt another student, harm another student physically,
and that
emotionally.
that isn't just the big kid picking on the little kid. Right. That's emotional and social imbalance of power too.
The kind of like that whole mean girls thinking. It's that is a part of it. Not just it's not the kid shoving the other kid in the locker. It could be exclusion. It could be starting rumors. It could be where you were friends in elementary school and now you're not, so you're getting other people to get after this kid,
Right.
So really that's bullying to us, and cyberbullying is just electronically. That's one of the scary things about now is, it used to be when we were all growing up probably, and not too long ago, it was, don't walk down this hallway when this kid's passing because he's mean, he's a bully.
Right.
When you go to cyberbullying now, it's 24/7. You can really access people at any time, especially when you have the amount of kids that we have on social media. And so
we're talking about kids emailing, texting,
exactly.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, where kids are sharing things that might be considered bullying or cyberbullying, because they're doing these things via an electronic device or medium.
And that's the scary thing about it is it feels like Wild Wild West time right now, because it's fairly new. If you think about it, the iPhone came out 7-8 years ago, and then from that all the smartphones started coming, and now they're accessible. Now you can buy them at 7-Eleven. And so and then the time for apps to develop and things like that. In my mind, from what I've seen, just my experiences, we're looking in the past 2 or 3 years where smartphones are very prevalent, and most, a lot of kids in middle school have those. And I saw a stat in the last couple of days that said about 75% of the kids at the Healthy Futures Initiative that we went to here in Summit County, 75% of kids nowadays have smartphones. I mean, that's huge, and so really showing kids how to use them appropriately, that's the thing that I don't feel that they know just quite how far-reaching social media goes. We're talking, literally around the world. You could be talking with a kid in Japan. You could be talking with a kid in Australia in the snap of a finger, And so anything you put out there reaches everybody.
That's right.
And so when you think back to not too long ago with what happened in, we referenced Canyon City earlier, and some other Colorados, that can really happen anywhere. So I feel like we have a safe school. I feel like we have a great school. We have a great community, but I also feel like we need to do more. And that's what we want to do with our kids.
And as educators, we have a responsibility to teach our kids about this new medium, how to use it safely, and how they can protect themselves. So let's talk about what you are planning to do with kids at Summit Middle School.
Right. Well, for one thing, we want to show them how fast social media, how fast a post can get around. We have an activity plan coming up where, we're going to have all of our students together. They're going to walk in, we're going to be playing music. They're going to be wondering what's going on. I'm going to throw a few beach balls out into the audience. And what do kids do with beach balls? They start slapping around, hitting them. It's going to go everywhere. When the music's done playing, we're going to stop and we're going to, after we get them calmed down a little bit because they're going to be excited, just talk about why we're in there and have the kids stand up that hit that ball. And just say, I threw this out there, and now 150, 200 of you are standing up out of 250 kids. What if that beach ball represented a post that you put on Facebook? What if it represented a picture that you sent to a friend? That's how quick these things spread, even faster than that. And not just to the people in this room. it does it to everybody. It could be everybody in the world, and that sounds kind of exaggerated, but it's a fact, and it's what happens. I mean, you're looking at the Canyon City situation, and it's a national headline, you know, and so it's scary. But we want to show them just not necessarily the consequences of it, but just if you decide to send something out there, it's out there forever, and it can continue going on and on and on and on.
What a great way to share the power of social media. I think the kids will really resonate with that activity. I can think of a few adult groups that could benefit from realizing how fast that email gets shared. So after that part of the activity, what will you be teaching the kids? How can they protect themselves?
Right, and so after talking about some consequences that could happen from posting something that shouldn't be posted, or sending something that you receive that's inappropriate. There's that aspect of it. How to avoid that. But there's also ways to protect yourself. Don't give your full name out on social media. Don't accept friend requests from people you don't know. Don't agree to meet somebody that you met online. There's a lot of common sense pieces, giving your email address, mailing address. So we really want to talk about how to keep yourself safe from predators that could be out there, or just people that are out there that really don't have your best intentions in your mind. To get that to the kids. And also, it's one thing we do during Conexiones. We do it during dialogue over dinner. We have just conversations with parents, trying to give them those tools and resources, support to help their kids with that. So we're giving a consistent message. We also talk about what they can do. Tell an adult. You have to if you see something that's inappropriate, don't say, oh, hey, look what I saw, and send it off, because that just starts this wildfire that you don't want to have happen. You can don't be part of the problem, essentially. Try to figure out a solution to fix it, and then use the various resources that we have for kids. Safe to Tell. They emailing us. I mean, I received emails over the summer from kids saying, hey, this is happening. We hadn't been in school for a couple months. That's what social media has done. It's made a 24/7 availability of everybody.
And great point, Joel. I think one of the commitments the district has made to this community is that if this involves our students, even if it happens outside of school hours, we want to know about it. We want to be involved. We want to help address the situation, protect the kids. Even if the text is sent at night, if it's impacting what happens in the school between those kids, it's important that we know about it. Travis, let's talk. Joel has mentioned Safe to Tell. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what Safe to Tell is and how it can help both our kids and our parents, and other resources that are available to families when these situations arise.
Safe to Tell is a state resource. It's an anonymous reporting process that runs through Colorado State Patrol Dispatch Center. Actually handles all the tips that come in. They've just this year rolled out an app for the smartphones for Safe to Tell. Previously it was kind of phone-in tips, which was losing traction, I think, a little bit with the target population, because it does target youth primarily. So they have an app now you can download on your smartphone, which we've been talking about a lot, and gives you quick access and enables you to make an anonymous tip about something that's going on. The app system also allows you to categorize it, and you can upload images, and there can be a dialogue with the dispatcher who takes the call. They can contact you back and ask you further questions. So the app has really expanded Safe to Tell's ability to get good, workable information around this anonymous tip.
And website is safe2tell.org. So parents or students could go to that website to download the app or get information about the app, right?
Yeah, and that website has a lot of other, you can download the app from there. You also can, I know it's in the iTunes or the Apple App Store. I believe it's on Google as well.
Great.
You can search it, Safe to Tell Colorado, in those stores, and get the app as well. The nice thing about the website is they do actually have a lot of additional resources around topics like sexting and bullying and cyberbullying and things like that parents could access and use in their conversation. So it's a useful website from that standpoint as well.
Are students in Summit School District and or parents or community members using Safe to Tell?
Certainly, and actually this year we've seen an increase in those tips, in part because all the secondary schools have pushed that information out. Every time you push out a tip submitting hotline or something, you do naturally see an increase in tips. But the process by which those happen, because most of them, it's nice because most of them come in non-school hours. So it allows that tip for whatever the situation is to come in and be captured both by school administrators, because you can designate what school the tip goes to, and so the school administrators at that campus get the tip, and then the tip also ends up in the Summit County Communications Center, which is the 911 dispatch center here locally.
So law enforcement is
Correct.
involved. The information is anonymous, though. I think that's important to emphasize,
Yep.
right? So when a student or a parent calls in, they do not need to share their name. They do not need to share any personal information. They can leave the tip or share what they know of a situation and still maintain that anonymity, correct?
Correct. The tipster remains anonymous. The more information attached to the tip about who if it regards an individual or a specific situation, the more information they can provide about the person they're concerned about, the person they feel is committing a crime, whatever the situation may be. That's great, but the tipster themselves does remain anonymous.
Great. Any other resources or suggestions you'd have on this topic, Travis?
You know, I really suggest to parents that they contact the school as a starting point. I know sometimes it's uncomfortable for some students, some families, but I think so many times what you find out is there's some nexus of the behavior, as we just talked about a little bit, that is happening at school or touches on school.
Right.
And and this goes what Joel was talking about parent engagement earlier, and being connected with your families and your students, the more comfortable we can make it for folks to come in and talk about a situation that's going on, the more resources we can help them access. Because the school has their own resources. They've got counseling staff. We have an SRO. We can connect with law enforcement. If
SRO stands for?
School Resource Officer,
Great.
sorry, through the Summit County Sheriff's Office. So we have a lot of resources that we can direct a family toward to help them deal with the situation. And also, if it has a nexus at school, they're being bullied by another student, the sexting got sent out to other students, the school can help intervene and help manage that situation. Other than that, if a family is struggling, and has a bullying situation, if they're not comfortable coming to the school, the community does have many different counseling resources.
Yes.
Mind Springs is a large one in the community. Summit County Care Clinic actually has a lot of counseling, mental health resources. So they reach out to those providers. They've got Spanish language counselors at both those organizations, and then obviously there's a lot of private practice stuff. But in terms of bullying, sexting, that type of issue, if they're not comfortable coming to the school, I would check in with Mind Springs or the Care Clinic.
Excellent. It's great, Travis, to emphasize that community partnership. I do think the schools, without question, are very committed to addressing these issues when they arise, and finding the right avenue to bring that issue to the school's attention, to law enforcement when that's necessary. But certainly we want to try and deal with these issues head on right when they begin, before they become something like Canyon City, where hundreds of students are involved or touched by an event. I think it's important that we emphasize and touch on the value of social media in our schools from the positive perspective. Maybe a great way for us to end this. Joel, talk a little bit about, I think I've heard from some parents, well, we just shouldn't let kids have phones in schools, and we shouldn't let them on any of these social media sites. What would you say in response to that?
I would say, for one, you have the power of the information you have in your pocket a kid has. We don't want to shy away from that. It's a tool that they're going to use. It's a tool that us three, we use it nonstop. We use it to communicate. We use it to get information. We use it to figure out where our kids are, so I definitely don't want to shy away from that. What I want to do is instead promote appropriate use of it, and how it could be a great tool. So again, there are some scary things, just like any fad that comes out, in the 50s, it was probably like rock and roll music or something like that, So, with what we're going through now with social media, and the increase of use of technology, again, appropriate use is key. And so when we talk to kids, I do always like to leave it with, the positive outcomes that you see from social media. We just had a story of a student, well, actually, let me go backwards from that. Speaking of social media and how I use it, really trying to figure out a positive way to end my message to students. I just sent on Twitter, I said, looking for great stories of students using social media to make a difference. And Crystal Miller, our principal at Summit Cove, she sent me, like within 5 minutes, had a story of one of her own students that her father passed away when she was younger, and so she wanted to help kids that had parents that passed away. Her name's Sophia Feller over at Summit Cove, and so she created a website called Heaven
Sent It?
Heaven Sent It. That's
yes.
right, Heaven Sent
Awesome.
It. And so she actually an old art, handwriting letters to students or to people around the country that have lost their parents. Well, how does she find out who those kids were? She created a website, Heaven Sent It, and so now kids can go in there. So it's on Facebook. So she's writing letters to kids and really connecting with them, and it's like kind of therapeutic for her, and it's also therapeutic for the other people. So I mean, it's just one of many examples of kids using social media, to make their lives better and to make others' lives better, and that's what I like to focus on. And so just like with anything that could potentially cause harm, appropriate use, show them how to do it, talk about the consequences that can come from that. I think with time, as it goes on more and more, it will definitely get better with the learning that's going on around appropriate use of technology.
Yeah.
And we're the first stop for that. This is kind of the time in middle school when kids start to, parents get their kids their own phones.
Yep.
They're starting to pull away more from, they're not pull away from their family, but they're becoming more engaged in their social circles and friendship groups. And so, really they want to connect with them. So they do through social media. When we were all young, it was probably like three-way phone call. I remember when the three-way phone call was big, and we would call all our friends on the phone, and you get somebody else a three-way, and all of a sudden you have like 10 people on the line.
Yeah.
Now it's, kids using social media to connect with their groups, and they probably do that more than talking to them. Yeah. But just teaching them how to be careful with it, what can happen if misused, and then also in the end of that, just how to respect. It comes down to respect for their fellow classmates, for people around them, and that's something that they're going to have to take with them their whole lives, not just in middle school. I just hope to continue that learning, and then really, like I said earlier, partner with parents on how to get that message to them.
That's right.
And that's what we want to do.
Because parents are our best allies in getting this done. Well, thank you both for being here today. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Summit Middle School, the great stuff happening there, and also the importance of student safety and security and cyberbullying and sexting. For more information about these topics, you can visit our website, which is summit.k12.co.us, or call us anytime, even Joel or Travis. We're always happy to chat about the good work we're doing in Summit School District. Thank you.